If everybody starts raising tariffs around the world, we end up with a world in which the Germans can complain, but here we know how to do this. If they want to act on their own, let them do so. Eric Trappier, CEO of Dassault Aviation Reuters, Cergy Pontoise, northwest of Paris. The quiet suburb has suddenly become the epicenter of a major debate over Europe's future in defense and technology. Dassault Aviation, France's pride in aerospace engineering, has just inaugurated a new factory here. But beyond the ribbon cutting, a striking statement from its chief executive has set off ripples across Europe. Eric Trappier, the seasoned head of Dassault, has spoken in a tone that leaves no space for ambiguity. With journalists and officials listening closely, he declared that Dassault is fully capable of building the next European fighter jet, known as Scaff, from start to finish, without needing help from its European partners. His words were sharp, even defiant. He said, "I'm happy for the Germans to grumble. Here we know how to do it. If they want to do it themselves, let them do it themselves." This declaration comes at a sensitive moment. The Scaff project, envisioned as Europe's future sixth-generation fighter jet, has been weighed down by disagreements between France, Germany and Spain. The idea was ambitious: pool the resources of Europe's biggest defense players to build an aircraft that could rival America's F-35 and China's stealth fighters. But political wrangling, industrial disputes and national pride have made progress painfully slow. France, through Dassault, wants to lead the project, drawing on its proven experience with the Mirage and Rafale fighters. Germany insists on equal partnership, seeking to protect its own aerospace industry, especially Airbus Defence and Space. Spain, while smaller in scope, demands its fair share of the programme. For years, negotiators have sat at the table debating leadership structures, intellectual property rights and work share divisions. Meanwhile, the clock ticks. Against this backdrop, Eric Trappier's message was unmistakable. Dassault, he argued, has the capacity, expertise and determination to move forward on its own. He said, Dassault is capable of building the future European fighter jet all by itself from A to Z. It is a bold claim, but not without foundation. Dassault's legacy in aviation is long and celebrated. The Mirage jets were icons of the Cold War. The Rafale, often described as the Swiss Army knife of the skies, has proven itself in theatres from Libya to the Middle East. France has exported it to nations across the world, making Dassault one of the few companies capable of delivering complete, battle-proven fighter systems. Still, Trappier went further. He told reporters, "We have the skills, we have the knowledge, and we have the facilities to do it." In those words lay both confidence and a warning that Europe's delays risk costing it precious time, while Dassault refuses to sit idle. But behind the CEO's bravado lies a deeper tension. Europe's defence cooperation has always been a balancing act between sovereignty and unity. For France, sovereignty means the ability to act independently, to make its own jets, build its own carriers, and ensure its security without relying entirely on allies. For Germany and Spain, unity means partnership, equal say, and guarantees that their industries will not be overshadowed by Dassault's dominance. Trappier, however, made it clear that politics should not be allowed to paralyze progress. He added, "The project must not be slowed down by endless political disputes. We need clarity and efficiency." This push for clarity echoes a wider debate in European capitals. As the war in Ukraine continues and global tensions escalate, Europe faces pressing questions about its defence readiness. Can it afford to waste years in internal arguments while the United States, China and Russia push ahead with cutting-edge military technologies? Inside Dassault's new facility, the answer seems obvious. The engineers and technicians working on the Rafale and preparing for future systems carry a sense of pride and urgency. They see themselves as the backbone of Europe's technological sovereignty. Marie, a senior figure who heads the Rafale development unit, expressed it simply. She said, "The Rafale's success shows what we can achieve when teams are united. The challenge is big, but so is our determination." Her words reflect a sentiment often overlooked in boardrooms and political chambers. That innovation is born on the factory floor through the skill of those who dedicate their lives to engineering precision. Nearby, Alexandra, who works as a hydraulics referent for the Rafale, emphasized the stakes of their craftsmanship. He explained, Every system must be precise, reliable, and ready for combat. The work we do here directly shapes the strength of tomorrow's aircraft. Their perspectives bring a human face to a project too often defined by political squabbles. For them, the SCAF is not just about contracts or national pride. It is about ensuring that Europe's air forces are equipped to face the challenges of the next decades, and those challenges are growing. Around the world, the race for aerial dominance intensifies. The United States is investing billions into upgrading its F-35 fleet and developing next-generation stealth technologies. China is advancing rapidly with its J-20 and rumoured sixth-generation prototypes. Russia, despite sanctions and setbacks, continues to refine its Su-57 fighter. If Europe hesitates, it risks falling permanently behind. This is why Trappier's declaration has hit such a nerve. On one hand, it reassures French policymakers that Dassault is ready to safeguard national sovereignty. On the other, it raises fears among partners that France may turn its back on cooperation, undermining Europe's ability to act collectively. The French government itself faces a delicate balance. President Emmanuel Macron has often spoken about the importance of European strategic autonomy. He wants Europe to be less dependent on American defense systems and to build its own industrial might. Dassault's stance fits neatly into this narrative. Yet France also knows that Europe's strength lies in unity. Walking alone might be feasible technically, but politically it could isolate Paris. Germany, in particular, has reasons to resist French dominance in SCAF. Its aerospace giant, Airbus, sees the project as a chance to cement Germany's leadership in defence. Sharing leadership equally is not just a matter of pride, but also of protecting jobs, technology, and influence. Spain, though smaller in scale, insists its participation must not be tokenistic. For Madrid, defence cooperation is both a strategic and economic necessity. The question now is whether these competing visions can converge, or whether Trappier's defiance marks the beginning of a French pivot to independence. Observers warn that if the project collapses under disagreements, the consequences would be severe. Europe would lose valuable time, fragment its industrial base, and weaken its collective bargaining power in global markets. Worse, rival powers would not wait. The gap in technology would widen, and Europe's promise of sovereignty would ring hollow. Yet others argue that Dassault's confidence could be the spark needed to push Europe forward. By showing that it has the ability to act alone, France could force Germany and Spain to accelerate their commitments, fearing they might be left behind. What is certain is that the debate over SCAF is no longer a quiet technical discussion. It has become a symbolic battleground for Europe's future, whether to stand united or to risk fragmentation in pursuit of national pride. As the ceremony in Cergy-Pontoise drew to a close, the words of Éric Trappier lingered in the air. "Here, we know how to do it," he said, standing before the newest symbol of French engineering. It was more than a boast. It was a declaration of intent that Dassault, and by extension France, will not allow Europe's indecision to hold it back. Whether this intent translates into a solo French fighter jet or pushes Europe toward finally uniting behind a common aircraft remains to be seen. But one thing is clear, the skies of the future are already being shaped and Dassault has made its move. In Cergy-Pontoise, the message was unambiguous. France is ready to lead. The only question is whether Europe will follow.
Après, il y a plein de...
semaines avec quelques mortiers.
On est très heureux d'inaugurer le site de Cergy. On y va. Voilà.
Et là, la police qui est là, voilà.
C'est un métier, ça. Allez, on y va pour la photo. Tertiaire à Mérignac, investissement à Argonay, nouvelles infrastructures d'essai à Istres. Falcon et Rafale. Ils sont conçus à partir du même bureau d'études et fabriqués sur les mêmes sites parce que toutes les équipes sont à la hauteur de ce défi ici à Cergy pour la réussite de notre entreprise et pour le succès des ailes de la France. Merci.
Extraordinaire. Ici, on sait faire. Donc je veux bien que les Allemands grondent. Ici, on sait faire. S'ils veulent faire tout seul, qu'ils fassent tout seul.
Vous savez faire de A à Z
On sait faire de A jusqu'à Z. On l'a démontré depuis plus de 70 ans. Donc nous, on a les compétences. On est tout à fait ouvert à la coopération, y compris avec les Allemands, au contraire. Mais on demande juste une chose, une petite chose. Donnez-nous la capacité de driver le programme. C'est-à-dire, dans la gouvernance, je n'accepterai pas qu'on soit à 3 autour de la table pour décider de toute la technique qu'il y aura à faire pour faire voler un avion qui sera un avion de très haut niveau. Je souhaite que ça soit le best athlète qui dirige. Et ça ne veut pas dire qu'il fait tout. C'est surtout un moment de grande fierté, à un moment donné où on a beaucoup de travail. Donc ça tombe bien. On a réussi à monter une usine très moderne, très importante dans la fabrication du Rafale, en particulier tout l'aménagement du fuselage, là où sont rassemblés des kilomètres de câbles, des kilomètres de fixation. Tout ça, c'est complexe. On a besoin donc des hommes et des femmes qui ont les compétences, qui étaient à Argenteuil, qui sont maintenant à Cergy. On a besoin qu'ils travaillent dans un outil qui est un outil moderne. Il n'est pas encore complètement décidé. Pour l'instant, on vise une cadence 4. Avec les contrats qu'on a aujourd'hui, on sait faire.
4 rafales par
4.
mois, c'est ça que ça veut dire.
Si jamais de nouveaux contrats arrivaient, ce que je souhaite, qu'ils soient pour la France ou pour l'export, à ce moment-là, on serait capable de passer à cadence 5 s'il faut livrer autour des années 2030. Si ça s'étale un petit peu, on va pouvoir garder la cadence 4 plus longtemps.
Donc ça nous permet de faire tourner l'avion à 360 degrés, de façon à faire des opérations de manière plus ergonomique, et également de rechercher ce qu'on appelle les FOD, donc c'est des bruits ou des débris éventuels dans l'avion qui pourraient mettre en danger la vie de l'avion.
C'est quand même, on ressent que, alors c'est peut-être plus petit qu'Argenteuil, parce que c'est vrai que c'est plus petit, mais on ressent quand même que c'est une usine à taille humaine. C'est un peu plus ergonomique, voilà, on a tout à côté, c'est différent d'Argenteuil. Après Argenteuil, c'est le site historique, voilà. On était bien aussi là-bas, mais il fallait que ça change. Il fallait soit moderniser Argenteuil, ce que je pense qui était un peu compliqué, soit faire une nouvelle usine, et ça je pense que c'était la meilleure solution, donc en tout cas on est bien. Avec une grosse montée.